All right, all right, all right, all right. What's everyone up to these days? Let me get everyone moving and shaking. Let's make sure we can get everything live and in action. Putting it in the group right now. All right, we got some special guests in the house. We're going to bring them on board right now. This is all about compliance, y'all. I think our industry has changed enough that people need to know how to pivot, what to do. And that is what today's call is going to be about. I have two of my partners on today's call. I am going to get them in here. What is up? If you, I got to open up the chat for y'all, don't I? Come on, man. Come on. If you're on Facebook watching this live already, make sure you comment below, say what's up. Now I can get all my VIPs that are on Zoom. Go ahead and say what's up. Let us know what city you are in. That's going to help a lot as we are going to be talking about compliance. So in the chat, you can talk to everybody. Let us know what city you're in, and we will get rocking and rolling. So like I said, this is going to be, about compliance. If you've been in this space long enough, you know that texting has taken a beating within the real estate space. In general, it's been taking a beating. It used to be outbound cold calling. Realtors felt that pain. KW settled a massive lawsuit for outbound cold calling. Next on the radar is texting. There's been a lot of challenges with outbound texting. And so me, my team, my partners here, we have found solutions. We have found workarounds. But before we tell you the workaround, before we tell you the solution, we want to make sure you stay on for the whole training. We're going to tell you what the real data really is. So on the call, we have our guy, John Kirk, which many of you guys already know and love. Great mustache, great, beautiful bald head. And then we have the big man, Pete, who is here. Pete Thorpe is here. He is all knowledgeable, realtor, investor, tech wizard, and beautiful bearded man. So we are going to kind of open this up. What I want to be able to start out with, again, if you are watching this on Facebook, like this right now. Do me a favor, like it and say what's up to us. Let us know what city you guys are hailing from. We always like to know who is watching us. But I'm going to start out giving the mic over really to Pete. Pete has been in the space of understanding what's going on with outbound calling, outbound texting. What are the workarounds? What's the legality? What is actually happening right now? Why are people getting shut down? What is on the horizon? What challenges we see inside of my business as a high volume outbound marketer? What challenges you guys might be seeing? Again, what are some workarounds and what's on the horizon? So Pete, I'll start with you, and then John, if you want to chime in. John does a lot of volume. He does a lot of outbound. He's talking directly with the sellers. He's utilizing a lot of the workarounds we do, and it still works is the point. And that's why I want him on to talk about what's actively working right now today in any market with all these challenges. There's stuff that is actively working. So these are the two guests. They are awesome. So Bob, Michael, Drew, Jeff, what is up? What is up? All of you, Daryl, Ron, Brendan, Mike, Samuel, Brendan, what's up? But Pete, the mic is yours for the time being, brother.
Thank you, sir. Just coming at you from the home office. I had a little time snafu. I don't know why. I thought it was 7 o'clock, not 4 o'clock. But
There you
hey,
go.
I still made it. So everybody has heard of A2P 10DLC compliance, but a lot of people don't really know what it means because a lot of the service providers out there were just saying, hey, you need to register for this, otherwise you're SOL. So what is A2P? It is basically application to person messaging from a 10-digit long code number, which is, i.e., your cell phone, 10 digits. So essentially, it's come about because of people spamming, and this is across all industries, not just real estate, but it's basically due to spam messaging going out, scams and whatnot, where they're trying to move everything to say you have to have opt-in in order for you to message somebody. Specifically in the real estate space, they have gotten incredibly aggressive with automated bots that are out there literally scouring your messages that go to the carriers. So AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, all of those guys, they've got automated systems that basically look at your messaging. And if they don't like it, they'll suspend you temporarily. And if you keep doing it, they will literally shut your account down. And you can't get your number back once they shut you down. You're yoinked, which, is terrible because there's no real good appeal process. There's no easy way to get it fixed once they take it away. You can't get your number back unless you happen to get super lucky and it's not picked up in the pool somewhere. There's all sorts of different rules around it. Specifically in the real estate space, the first time you message somebody, if you have the address in there, carrier's just going to block it. Even if somebody comes to your website, fills out the form and says, I want an offer on this house, or I'd like to get a valuation of my property. My address is 123 Main Street. You're like, cool. Hey, Justin, got your request for an offer on 123 Main Street. When's a good time to talk? They're like, nope, sorry. You're fishing. You're putting out information that you want them to confirm. So all those little kinds of things in there, and they specifically don't give you much guidance. There's some guidance out there. They say you can't sound like you're fishing. You can't sound like you are making a fantastical claim. They hate when you say get an all cash offer if you're an investor. For real estate, say they don't like you saying we can get you market above market value, guaranteed home sale. They don't like any of that language. They will just literally block it at the door. It won't get in. And then they'll just say, sorry, you're violating our AUP, acceptable use policy, and you're done. Anybody who is with any of the major CRMs, Lofty, which used to be Chime, Sierra, Follow Up Boss, pretty much anything that's out there, Launch Control, if you're in the investing space, Rocketly, you name it, you have to have A2P registration. It is required. And they have been slowly clamping down since about August, I'd say, of last year. They've been slowly ramping it down more and more and more. And now basically they're looking towards 2025, where the only way you can message somebody is if you have direct opt-in and you have proof of it. And they're being just super strict on what you send to them. So it is across all industries, anyone that is using messaging. This is even for existing clients. So if you want to run, we've had one client that was running just a promotion sent out to his existing client base. And if you have more than 10% of people opt out, they say you're violating the policy because you must be sending spam. So it could be your existing clients. You're like, hey, we're having a special offer this month for 10% off for our existing clients. If they hit unsubscribe and it's more than 10% of that list you sent to, they're like, well, that's spam. You're out. It's crazy. So that's had a very chilling effect on texting in the real estate space. I mean, we've had people in the middle of conversations with a existing client, and they just don't like the message, and you got to kind of finagle and tweak and try and figure out exactly what to say, which you think it's nothing. You think it's very benign, but the carrier says, no, I can't define pornography for you, but I know it when I see it. That's essentially what they're doing with the messaging. They're like, nah, I don't like that. That sounds like it's phishing. That sounds like you're.
Great analogy.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of for what it is. Like, I can't define it for you. I won't tell you everything that you can or can't say, but I'll just say that you violated policy and you have no. It's like trying to get a hold of Facebook to fix a problem. Good luck.
Impossible. So I do want to stop for a second because Pete, you
Yeah.
already gave like 5 or 6 things that people can't do, shouldn't be doing.
Yes.
If you have questions, drop them in the chat for all my VIPs on Zoom. We know you, we love you. Drop those questions in the chat while I myself or Pete or John are talking and going over all this. This is serious for anyone. An aspiring investor needs to know this. An active investor needs, like everyone needs to know these things. So first of all, you don't spend your money on marketing that doesn't work anymore, right? Like it does you no good to go spend thousands and thousands of dollars on outbound marketing that's not achieving anything. For those that are actively like myself, an investor, figuring out a workaround, figuring out solutions. We're going to show you, John's going to show you how we've gotten our workaround and what's going on right now, and it's actively working. John, how many contracts have you gotten in the last, let's just say since April 1st? So call it 3 weeks. You're
on
muted,
mute, John.
Sorry, that I've personally been involved in that I
Yeah.
locked up, like probably 5 at least.
5. Right. So, and I say that because what we do and how we're doing it works, right? So we have workarounds and it's working. So we'll show you that kind of stuff. But as you guys are having questions, drop them in the chat. For all my Facebook family, we love you too. Make sure you're dropping in a thread. Literally, as you think it, write it down, because we will go back. We will read them over and talk through them with you guys as we're going. So I didn't want to stop you too much, Pete.
Yep.
But
No,
I know
good.
you already dropped, like, don't put the address in there, right? Like, you've already dropped really good golden nuggets that people should be abiding by. So wanted to stop you just to say, repeat it, but also make sure people are asking us questions.
Sure. So the biggest thing for anyone in the real estate space is every initial message has to have an opt-out. You got to have a reply stop to opt out or unsubscribe to opt out. That is a requirement on your first message. Also on the first message, you have to have yourself identified, your company identified, and do not identify the property address. You can't even say, hey, it's Justin, I just want to confirm you submitted 123 Main Street. Can is that the right property we're talking about? Can't do it in the first message. They will block you. Those are the big ones. You can't say things like anything that is sort of like asking for information beyond how many bedrooms and bathrooms do you have. They get a little cranky when you start asking for, like, what's your motivation for looking to sell, things like that. So you have to kind of really stay bland. What we're finding is use the text messaging in a very generic sense to get them on the phone. That is where you're going to convert them, is actually on the phone. Texting is now, it used to be you could do the majority of it over text, but now it's just trying to get them talking and then try and convert them into a phone call. Phone call is going to be that you're going to get far further along in more deals. It feels like the real estate industry is being targeted, and it kind of is, because you alluded to earlier the KW lawsuit. There's also a couple other people that have had to settle some really large lawsuits, upwards of 7 figures, for either ignoring do not call lists, or for just repeatedly calling people even after they didn't give them an option to opt out. They would just keep calling. So that happened a lot. There's also that company that was doing a whole lot of messaging. I forget their name. I think they were out of Florida, where they were basically saying, hey, we'll give you $5,000 now, and whenever you sell your house, we'll sell it for you. That company also was part of a settlement in there as well. So they've cracked down super hard. But you can get yourself registered and approved for it all. So there is a whole bunch of things that you need to do. First, they're going to go ahead and say you got to have an EIN. You need to be an official business, and your business information needs to match the message you're sending out, and your address that is on file for wherever your account is, whoever you have it with, has to match that EIN code. If it doesn't, they won't approve it. That's called your brand approval. So there's a whole block of data that you got to compile and send off to them for them to go ahead and say, yep, we approve your brand. Now they need to approve your campaigns. And what are your campaigns? Your campaigns are the messages that are going out. Some people will actually, some carriers have said sending a confirmation of a webinar or a confirmation of an appointment that somebody booked is a high risk activity. So you're sending them a link saying they came onto your website, they went on to Calendly, they went on to whatever calendar application you have, and they said, I want to talk to you. It looks like you've got Friday at 3 o'clock available. I've booked that time. And all you're doing is sending, hey, Justin, this is confirmation that we're going to meet tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Here's the Zoom link. I'll see you then. They're like, nope, that's a high risk activity. It's crazy. So because of that, that is why we're moving a lot more to leading with email. So email is coming back in vogue, which there is more compliance rules around email. That's probably for another call, but email has come back in vogue, where you're sending off emails first and then following with text. So the people are like, well, I've seen the email and this guy's really trying to get a hold of me because now he's texting me. You're trying to get them on the phone one way or another. But leading with email is really become a better way to go, just to get it going. And then when you start with your texting, it needs to be very generic, very kind of bland. Unfortunately, like, you can't really have much in the way of a sizzle in there. You have to just get a generic message, get the conversation going, and then hop on the phone with people. That's the only way it's going to get done, because the compliance rules are a pain. You got to send 4 or 5 different examples of what your messaging looks like, and it all has to be very specific. You got to file all that paperwork, and then it can take them, it varies. For a little stretch, it was taking 6 weeks, 7 weeks to come back. They got it back down to like a week, and now it's kind of creeps up and down anywhere from 7 to 10 days, sometimes a little faster. If you're coming out of an approved number pool, you can get it done a little quicker. But it's just like one more hurdle, one more thing you have to pay attention to and be wary of, because you could have had the same phone number for 5 years, 6 years. And if they decide that you violated their policy, gone, and you aren't getting that number back. So all of your marketing that has that number on it, trash, no good anymore. That number is gone. It's in the ether.
Yeah.
So it's just and like I said, there's very little reporting or compliance mechanisms that you can go back to and be like, look, I didn't violate the policy. Like everything was good. Don't know why you flagged it. And they're like, oh yeah, it does look, it's okay. Okay, your account's back on. Oh, but you got to go get new numbers. So
Yeah.
it sucks.
Well,
Yep.
so Drew Kilpatrick's asking, will a website help us with consent? And I know at one point that was a big thing. Go make sure your website gets compliant, et cetera, et cetera. Where do we stand with the consent with opt-ins from your website and all that kind of stuff?
Sure. So opt in on the website. If you have, especially when you're sending in these requests to get yourself A2P approved, your main website might only be requesting email and a name, right? Or email and an address. You have to specify that on the next page, there's a phone number. So now you need to have special language for opt-out. So you need to have language that says, message and data rates may vary, message frequency is varied. You agree to receive SMS messaging from an auto dialer and or from our system and from the company and from the website. Now they're coming out and they're saying they want a separate, completely separate off the page from the opt-in terms and use policy and a privacy policy. You have to have both of them as two separate links underneath your submit button. If you don't have all that stuff, they're like, no, well, guess what? You're not approved. Even for a stretch, they were even saying they wanted all that on forms that didn't even have a phone number on it. Look, we fought back against that for quite a while, and they finally relented on that one, because why would you have an SMS opt-in when you don't even have a phone number on the form? It's stupid, but that's government for you. So what are you going to do?
Mike,
You also
Mike is asking about new technology of Rocketly minute pages. What's rolling out that's going to mitigate some of these risks, assuming the
Sure.
bot scripts and all are updated?
Yep. So we basically stay on top of, so using minute pages, the sites are already compliant. So if you're on a minute pages website, that is compliant. We've added the terms of service in. We have all the opt-out language on every site in the place it needs to be. We know where, when we submit the A2P campaign information, we know it's all correct. We know it's going to go through. We've been doing it for months now. So on occasion, you get one, they get some rogue guy, like you got a bad auditor in the IRS and they're after you, and you just have to go back and forth a few times with them. But we've gotten everybody approved. So the approval process isn't too bad if we're doing it through systems that we know and use already. Rocketly, using Rocketly for messaging, we basically customize the messaging based on what they send. So in the very beginning, we had addresses in there. Then they said, you can't do that. Okay, great. We took the messaging out. We changed the messaging. We've changed the messaging, I would say every couple of weeks, based on feedback from the carriers where they've said all of a sudden they don't like something. We're like, okay, we'll go in and we'll tweak the messaging. We'll change it up to be something different. The automated bot that we have in there, which takes care of conversations when users can't, is basically trained to reply with specific messages that will meet the criteria, so they don't break things. So the bot's not going to get you flagged. We've had people who have gone in and taken over conversations for the bot and gotten themselves flagged because they would say offer, great cash offer, and to get you an offer all in one text, and they're like, nope, stopped. So we have a lot of that stuff already baked in and built in, and we monitor it just based on what we see from the day-to-day activity. We are also migrating everybody off of Twilio, to be honest with you. Twilio is one of the larger culprits because, as everyone knows, you've got overseas companies and whatnot, and they just buy tons of numbers and burn through numbers. You'll get numbers from a local area calling you, and it'll be the same company, and then a couple days go by and it's the same company calling from a different number because they called until they got burned, then they got another number and they call until they get burned. Twilio has that bad reputation, so we're moving to a different provider which has approved number pools, so it also is increasing our A2P turn time. They just have higher deliverability, and they're much more flexible in terms of being able to actually talk to the company and say, okay, what don't you like? What needs to be changed? We're happy to make compliant messaging, but if you don't tell us what's compliant, how can we comply? Like, don't let us guess. Tell us what you want it to say or how it needs to be formatted, and we'll do that. So this move from a Rocket League standpoint is fantastic. And we just got the first set of people in there yesterday. Numbers are all getting approved. So basically tomorrow or maybe Monday at the latest, we should have about a dozen people on that new platform seamlessly integrated with everything that we have. So it's really won't be much of a change for them aside from getting a new phone number because their accounts were suspended by the carriers. And they should basically be compliant from Monday going forward at the latest.
We got a question about, can you show how Minute Pages website is compliant? Are you able to bring that up, Pete?
Yeah, let me grab
And show what you're talking about so people can see what you're verbally saying.
Yep. Let's see.
Drew says, I have Twilio now. Sounds like moving to Rocket League soon. Drew, I would tell you it's pretty much a must. I mean, it's how we have the workaround. This is why I have my entire team. I have the tech guy, I have the sales guy. I like literally have two of the people that will show all of you how to work around this. So I would tell you, Drew, yes.
All right.
And for all of you that are mentioning that, if you want to go to rocketly.ai and demo it, so all the stuff that you're hearing about what we did with Rocketly and everything Pete just answered, I'm getting a private message Q&A saying, what is Rocketly? So go to rocketly.ai and schedule a demo. It'll be with John. You'll see him here. He'll spend some one-on-one time with you guys. You can see exactly how we have our workaround. That's where John's contracted 5 deals since the beginning of the month. So it works. This is how we get around it. But go ahead and show this, Pete.
Yep. So here, this is one of our favorite folks there, 𝐀𝐻 �11 85 Property Ventures. So he's got his site set up here. So everything is cool. You see he's got request an offer here, and obviously there's nothing here. We get a little further down on his site though, and you can see we've got the language here for their privacy policy and everything else, and his consent box. And then if we actually go to what the second page would be, which is, hang on a second, slash gets, and I happen to know the page by name, offer, get an offer slash more info. This is what the second page would be after somebody starts the process. Get an offer today, more info. Sorry. Of course, I missed the one. Get offer today. Info. Do it this way. I'll put in my office address here, 17 West Main. Plus test Minute Pages. Request the offer. It should take me over to his the second page, which will request the rest of the information, but it has the component underneath it that we can go ahead and get there's get an offer, more info. I must have missed it. A couple of the questions that happen. And then down here at we've got the compliance box here. There's the privacy policy. And this one down here is by submitting this form and signing up for text, you consent to receive email marketing text messages from 85 Property Ventures, yada, yada, yada. All that stuff has to be in here. So that's all on the pages. So we submit these. For a long stretch, we would actually have to do a video where we would literally do a video of just showing what I just showed you and send that in. We would record it, save it to a Google Drive, and actually send that in to have it approved. And we have trackers that are on that, and we could actually see that the carriers were legitimately like going in, watching the video, saying, okay, yes, this is compliant, and coming back and approving it. But we would do that for every single client. We would shoot a video basically saying, people go to the website, they're driven here from either pay-per-click ads, Facebook ads, or organic traffic through SEO by finding it on, say, using the automated blog writer, and they found your blog and they find your site. And here's where the page they land on. They put this information in here. It brings them to this page, which has the consent language and everything else on it. So yes, they are compliant. They would watch the video and then come back and say, okay, yep, you're approved based on what you provided.
Yeah, so we have I don't know who C is, but they're asking, are these sites optimized for Google PPC?
We do have versions that are highly optimized for Google pay-per-click. They are basically Minute Pages websites that are stripped down slightly, taking a few of the bells and whistles off the back end to make the page go even faster. These pages are all rated in the high 90s on GT metrics. So they're already rated like A+, but we've sped them up even faster with some plugin tweaks, and we've taken a few of the plugins off to make some pages even quicker. So we do have a version of Minute Pages that is specific for people who are running high volume PPC campaigns. The pages load in like less than half a second. They're just like boom on. And for
Again,
those pages too, for that, these do have lead detector baked in on the back end as well. So if you're driving a lot of traffic, you can capture 15 to 25% of it that doesn't actually register on your site and get yourself their name, email, phone number, and property address as well.
right. And we haven't really even talked about lead detector. I'll kind of let John do that. But the other thing is if you're even interested in talking about Minute Pages, just book because I have people asking more about Minute Pages. Book a call or a demo, rocketly.ai. John put it in the chat, rocketly.ai. He'll show you all this stuff because we only have a certain amount of time and I want to kind of keep on point here. But he will
Sure.
show you Minute Pages, lead detector, Rocketly, how it all works together. We're going to open it up a little bit here for John. But just book a call, right? See the demo and you'll see why this is a great workaround. So to kind of stay on point here, Pete, what, with all the things that you just basically listed and how the websites have had to change, what have we done just kind of talking about like, what are the pivots that need to be done? Like the Twilio thing that you just brought up was huge. I mean, we literally internally just hit that wall like 10 days ago and we've been scrambling to find a solution, right? And so you
Yep.
finally have found a solution for those of you using Twilio or any services that you use Twilio. Get ready. I mean, you were about to just go caboose because we did. We do a lot of volume, but it is coming down the pipe. So, Pete, what are some solutions? Of course,
Sure.
Rocket.ai is probably the best, but
Yep.
what else can people be doing?
So this is one of the big things. The carriers can tell when you are sending things via automated batch messaging. So if you are sending things out through a system that basically says, okay, send out 500 text messages, say, to these people, carriers are able to tell that that came from from basically a giant batch. So to get around that, we've implemented what's called Power SMS. So Power SMS, even though it says Power, what it really means is we send out the messages that we would normally send out, and then we queue the SMS messages in a block. And you sit there with your mouse and click on send for every message. So it's not a automated send. It is a person sitting there going send, send. It cycles through each person. So you'll hit the send button, the message will send, and it will go ahead and cycle to the next person. So it's like using almost like an automated dialer, but it's manually you're clicking it. So that takes away that fulfills the compliance that you are manually sending a text. So that is how you can avoid the carrier saying, up, you're using a bot to automatically send out massive amounts of messages. So what we advise people to do is while they're going through their day, have Rocketly up on the side. They'll have Power SMS that will be queued up for the day, and just throughout the day, just kind of navigate to that window and just go click, 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 send off a bunch of messages, go back to doing whatever. If you're on the phone, talking with a customer or client or whatever, you can sit there and just click away as you're going through, depending on how large your volume is. But this keeps you compliant. You're manually sending the messages. You'll see the messages as they're going. And the one other big thing that's out there that we've just implemented ourselves is all of you guys here that are investors, you all skip trace. Everyone skip traces. The problem is skip tracing only returns maybe on a good day 80% accurate information, 85 sometimes for numbers. And that's because this is the best example I can give. I've got a phone from AT&T. If I decide to switch to Verizon and I didn't port my phone number is still a good phone number. You can go to tons of different services that will validate that the number from my phone is a valid phone number. Yep, that's a good number. It's available in the data pool. It is a good phone number. They cost like 0.0007 cents to do that. But what that doesn't do is tell you if my phone is actually still connected and in service. You need to have a service like Equifax. I think it's Equifax Data Services has one. Phone Validator is another one. Real Phone Validator is the other one. They validate that the phone line is actually in service and active. So what happens is you skip trace and you get yourself 1,000. Let's say you got 1,000 names. I guarantee you that 30 to 40% of the information that you got phone number wise, phone number is disconnected. It's a valid number, but Pete just went and turned his phone in yesterday and his number's now back in the pool and disconnected and available for somebody else to buy. Yes, it's a valid number. No, it's not in service. And if you start texting out of service numbers, the carriers assume that you have scraped the data or bought a list. It's not opt-in compliant, and therefore they're going to block you. So you need to make sure you are validating those phone numbers before you start messaging them, because they will catch you and they will burn you down quick. So make sure you're using any service like that. We've got it built into the system now. We do it for all of our skip trace stuff, because otherwise we're going to get shut down. So that's a huge, huge thing to make sure you are validating that the number, not only is it a valid number, but it's actually active and connected and in use.
Yeah. And there's just stuff that you guys have to understand is still coming. Like they're still going to have more and more and more regulations. This isn't like it's finally done. Here's the no. If you guys are really thinking about becoming marketers, right? So in the science flipping community, I teach the first thing is you got to find the property, then you got to analyze it, exit it, etc. But if you're going to really try to find properties and you're going to do outbound direct to seller marketing, make sure you're compliant with this stuff. Otherwise, you're quite literally throwing your money away, right? Like even if you use direct mail and you put your website on there and your website's not compliant, like this whole thing is like an ecosystem of making sure every layer of your ecosystem is compliant. To Pete's point, even some of our members that use Rocketly, when they jump in and take over, we have a bot, we have AI that works within Rocketly, starts a communication. It has been trained, it has been taught. It will not fuck up and say, hey, John on 123 Main Street, are you interested? And they won't do that. Humans do. The human error component. So we have members that are using Rocketly and then jump in, think they know better, and then they mess up themselves and torch the Rocketly account and the phone number in Rocketly because they did that, right? So just be aware. This is going to be a moving target. I don't know, Pete. I mean,
It's
for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, 2025 is when they're going to really have the final like clamp down. Like there's a few court challenges going through for a couple use cases, because obviously you know who's exempted from all this. Anything to do with a political campaign.
Of
So
course.
anything for political campaigns, and I believe also anything for charity requests for raising money for charity, those two are exempt. So
Shocker.
everyone's like, yeah, shocker, exactly.
Well, guess who has
But
the
they're
biggest
as
charity? Politicians,
yeah,
right? But
as they're clamping down on it, Google and Yahoo also put out things. You need to have specific DMARC records and dedicated email domains. All those things keep coming down. And it's in reality, all of it is attempting to cut down on the spam and the noise that's out there, which means the people with legitimate messages will get through. They'll keep churning at it. The people like you keep getting text messages from for, get your car warranty, and then it comes from a different number a couple days later. They're the ones that are slowly getting burned down. And this is why they're making people have EIN numbers tied to your account. And if you saw, I believe the regulation has been paused, but they were taking away the anonymity of LLCs. They were earlier in the year. That's been paused because it's got a court challenge. It looks like it's not going to go through, but you never know. So you used to be able to hide. These people would just set up shells. They would set up shell after shell after shell, and you would never know who was behind it. So when your EIN got burned, they would just toss it aside and have another one, and they'd start a new phone number under that new one. You get burned. No one ever knew who the root owner was. So that root company would just basically stay hidden. And they were trying to essentially not have that happen. But obviously, you guys know when you have an LLC, you want to keep yourself out of it so that you're not personally liable for things. So that was kind of defeating the purpose of LLC. So that got challenged in court. That happened, was towards the end of last year. The challenge happened early this year. The ruling's been stayed for now, but it's still, going back and forth. But all those kind of regulations are all pointed to being finalized and like locked into place come 2025.
yeah, there's a couple questions just about what Rocketly does. I see that. And then a few phone validation sites. What were the phone validation sites?
Yeah, one is Equifax Data Services. So just type in like Equifax Data Services, and then the other one is Real Phone Validation or Real Phone Validator.
Real Phone Validator or Real Phone Validator.
Yeah, those were the ones, and I looked high and low because everyone's like, "Oh yeah, I use this site. I use this site all the time." I'm like, "Yeah, no, that just validates that the number is valid. That's it. It doesn't actually validate it's connected. So you have to like hunt for them." There's only like 2 or 3 that I could find, and those were the 2 main ones. They also have APIs which let you connect automatically, so that's a benefit for those. those were the big ones. Somebody asked, is this service for just texting homeowners? I'm not
I
sure what
think that's
that.
where I was going to take it, give it to John a little bit, and then
Yeah.
he kind of take everything we just boiled in, said, here's all the issues that has happened to all of us, including myself, over now
Mhm.
18 months, 2 years that they've been starting to crack down on this. We've been building out the solution, and it works. And so part of this is Rocket League, and that's what Pete's kind of mentioning. But John being in the day-to-day in Rocket League each and every day, I wanted him on to kind of show how this all works, because many of you guys are investors that want to go direct to homeowner. You want to be getting the direct deal, right? You don't want to be working with agents and wholesalers. Then this is the workaround for that, right? And so, John, I'll hand the mic over to you. You can share your screen. I think you guys should be able to, right? He did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And just kind of show the utility and what we're seeing and how it's not, the bot's not saying the stupid shit, because we trained the bot, and it's machine learning. So we'll know what to say and what not to say. So go ahead.
Yeah, this is a good example of that, is that like this opener, this is one that we just locked up, $15,000 assignment. Gentleman filled out a Facebook form from the ads that Rocket League created, driving the traffic to the Minute Pages website. They then filled out the form, automatic text comes out. This is Anthony. I just received your submission, had a few questions in order for us to provide you with the best offer. Reply quit to be removed. Thanks, Nationwide HB. So like Pete, you were mentioning like no more cash offer, no more, nothing regarding a house. Like there was nothing in that messaging that was pertaining to a house. It was just, I got your submission, had a few questions in order for us to provide you with the best offer. That could
And
be,
as a
go
grammar Nazi, this absolutely kills me. Like I hate this sentence, how it is, but that's the only way we can get them to go through. Like this is, to me, this is stupid as all hell. Like I should be able to say, this is Anthony, got your request for an offer on your house at 123 Main Street. When's a good time to chat? Like it's dumb as all get out that I can't say that, and I have to make it sound like I'm a kind of like an idiot, but that's what they make you do. So
This is a
carry
perfect
on.
example. Yeah, well, this is a perfect example, Justin, of why this is way above my pay grade and understanding. You know what I mean? Like for me, I need Pete to fix this stuff when this goes down for me, because I don't even know where to start for this. Same as the majority of individuals that will use this system. So the support that Pete provides whenever we get shut down, if I'm saying something that makes perfect sense because somebody requested a cash offer, why can't I say, hey, you requested a cash offer on your property? I'm reaching out to see if you want to hop on a phone call. You can't do that. So this is crucial, being able to adapt and evolve with the times, Justin, because it's truly like the wild, wild west where you're being shut down for ridiculousness. And I've heard other people be like, I've never been shut down. I send all this stuff. Just wait, brother and sister. You will have your day eventually if you send out enough. When it comes your time, you may continue to slide under, but as Pete said, the regulation is coming to a clamp in 2025. So you always want to be ahead of the times. So this is just the rocket bot, Justin, that's having the conversation in our account, literally just going back and forth with the seller as if the seller thinks they're speaking directly to a human. Just checking off these check boxes, just getting them ready to receive a cash offer. And the conversation is extensive, to the point where they end up sending pictures throughout the conversation, and it just goes and goes and goes until, we hopped on the phone, got it locked up, and popped it off and got it dispositioned. And that is the simplicity of the signal flow, from creating a form fill, sending the traffic to the Nationwide Home Buyer website, them either filling a form out or not filling a form out, obviously opting in if they fill out the form. But even if they don't click on this, which most people will not, right? 90% of those folks that come to this website will come here and then abandon this website, even though they might have a high need to sell their property. We are able to capture and identify, 15 to 50% of abandoned traffic via our lead detector technology that literally is embedded within our nationwide, our Minute Pages websites. Mine just so happens to be titled Nationwide Home Buyers, but this lead detector technology lies within Minute Pages websites right here, where we'll capture and identify people that came there, did not fill out a form, and then here they are right here, according to the Rocketbot, ready for an offer, which in itself really needs to be acknowledged, because it's mind blowing. It's the first of its kind. Nothing ever like this. I've never seen anything like this. If anybody else has, please let me know. If you've ever seen somebody come to a website, leave that website, have an automated AI bot reach out to that person and fully qualify them from start to finish for a cash offer, knowing they never filled out a form requesting any information. That's what this conversation is that I'm about to show you folks here. The other one was a form fill, which we're all familiar with, people filling out their form and requesting information. What about the event where somebody does not fill out a form? That's where I think Rocketly really, sticks out. And then the compliance with the texting is also vital when it comes to this, to make sure it's not saying anything different as well. I'm sorry, I went to the wrong account. Let me see something real quick. Sorry about that. Let me click on, for some reason the leads are not populating. Let me pull this one out.
Yeah,
real
while,
quick.
while you're grabbing that one too, these guys all, we spent better part of 3.5 months of taking all of the traffic from nationwide home buyers, and we basically aggregated all the conversations and pushed them all through the bot to get the bot responses trained, so they're like real responses. I go back to the pornography one. We had the I go back to that only because when we were training, we had some questions that would come in, and at one point, like, oh, I'd really like to get a reach around. And the boss said, haha, pretty funny. We don't offer that service here, but if you're looking to sell your house, we can help you with that for sure. So are you looking to sell your house? Like, it actually said that. That was the wording. So it actually will, if somebody cracks a joke, it recognizes it and it replies like either with a laugh or like, how a good one, something like that. And it just tries to steer the conversation back to getting its like 6 main objectives satisfied so that somebody can be ready for an offer.
It's got some really cool wit. It gets me and all of us cracking up, honestly. The other one was in ready for offer, but also the Rocketbot will get form fills ready for offer. So I wanted to pull up an account that's exclusively lead detector leads, getting ready for offer. These individuals were on a website, on one of our users, left their website, and then here is the first text of correspondence. I just tried calling, but got your voicemail because the ringless voicemail went first. Regarding your interest in learning more about your home's value and options, reply yes for more information. No if you're no longer interested. Thank you. Look forward to hearing from you soon. Reply stop to unsubscribe. Thanks. Want to sell now. One of our users, right? So nothing. Ghost Town, February 27th, 10 days later or 15 days later, a little bit more. I forgot to mention previously that if you're not looking for a quick sale, we could still help. I'd love to go over some options if you're open to a proposition. Guys, keep in mind, these are people that did not fill out a form. They are not urgent looking to sell right this second. They're not filling out their information on everybody's website. They're not looking for a cold call, and we know that. Therefore, watch the messaging. 15 to 17 days later, follow up. What is it with the misspelling, right? What? We offer various home solutions for selling your home that can be quicker and more flexible than the traditional market. Can I confirm you're the owner of the property at Lisa Drive so we can proceed? My bad, I might have jumped. Look, same minute. My bad, I might have jumped ahead with want to sell now. We're interested in properties like yours at Lisa Drive. Are you the owner of the property so we can discuss potential offers? Yes. Awesome. Thanks for confirming, Sabrina. What's the current condition of your property? Any recent updates or repairs needed? Good. One word answers, guys, and you're looking at the bot deal with a dull response better than an actual human would. Great to hear it's in good shape, exclamation point. Have you done any major updates to the property in the last 5 to 10 years? New roof, HVAC. Now I'm starting to get some unfolding here. HVAC system, water heater. So she's starting to give me some information. Bot's using emojis. Garage needs finished with misspellings. The bot still picked it up. Garage needs, I mean, I think this needs to be emphasized, guys, because this bot is the secret sauce, for me at least, to be able to shortcut my time in my day to be able to get on the phone with somebody who is literally ready for an offer versus somebody that may have filled out a form and, is just not ready to respond right now. So I just let the Rocket bot take care of that for us. And you have sellers I've never had so many sellers to speak to on demand where I don't even have to forge or think about where the next one's coming from. So it's a pretty cool system, the way it works. And then the marketing with the Power SMS lies right here where Pete was talking about, where Pete, how does that work where you upload a list, right, to get that ready? You throw it through the Power SMS campaign, you click Let's Start, and then automatically AI is going to load up a brand new message for you, like you see right here. And I can just start clicking away as the AI loads up a custom message right down here. You see Bernice is about to get a text message, and I could assign it to myself or whoever's on my team that wants to deal with it. Boom, probably should have done that before, but I click send, and then the message goes out. And then you wait 5 seconds for it to go out, and then it loads the next one. And now somebody else, Doreen, is about to get a text message. Watch the AI load right here. Boom, there it is, and I click send. So that's the compliance that we're speaking about, where you can not only hit as many people as fast as possible, but you can hit them with high level deliverability, not just from the server standpoint, but from the AI messaging standpoint to elicit the response back that we get. So it's been pretty exceptional to watch this journey unfold, guys.
Well, one thing that we haven't even hit on, and you know, we're kind of coming up on time. We don't want to take too much of your night, but a lot of our outbounding is what Pete already said, is we use email more than I've ever used email in real estate ever. I have coached and educated for over 11 years now, since 2013. I used to be, for well over a decade, saying email doesn't work in our space of real estate. It won't go and get you a motivated seller lead. Well, when we came up against this A2P stuff and all this text messaging compliance stuff, and launch control stopped working for us and all this stuff, and we were scrambling to find solutions. One of the things we said, listen, let's really give this a real try. Will this work? And, you know, John, I don't know if you have it up, but I mean, we just did a deal. John specifically was able to take a deal from tip to tail with never talking to a seller ever on the phone. She lived in Europe, and we sold it all over email. 100% of the deal was over email. And it is stuff like that, that if you just have the, you know, I pride myself on being the tip of the spear, right? Let me spend my money, my energy, marketing, figuring it out, testing things. Does this work? Does this not? So part of what we wanted to do was to really give email a shot. Like, does it work? Does it really not? Well, ladies and gentlemen, it works. Just people aren't giving it enough time. Email is a different type of communication style. And too often people want the immediate text message gratification. Why do you think you have so many people out there on, you know, they won't answer a phone call, but they'll hit you back with a text, right? It's because it's immediate, it's quick, they can hide behind it. Well, email actually works. So I do see you have it up, John, but I want you to realize, guys, part of our answer, part of our solution is utilizing email at a much higher rate than we've ever done before, for me specifically, ever. And it actually works.
Yeah, I mean, this entire transaction was done via email. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Houses in Detroit. You know, we were in Baltimore, Maryland. Justin's obviously in Miami, and she's in France, Paris, France. And it was a $20,000 assignment. The whole entire chain was done via email. I could pull up the chain if you want me to, Justin, but it's a long chain of email. I mean, this is the transaction right here. Patricia Demetz came in through being on my website on Nationwide Home Buyers, abandoned the website, automatic text message, or automatic email went out. Right here she is, right there, because there was no phone number and I couldn't send her a mailer. She wouldn't have gotten there. And literally the whole entire deal went over via email. And that was prior to the Rocket bot being in existence. That's what actually made us realize, like, holy shit, stumbled onto a gold mine with this. Let's pour some gas on this shit right here.
Yeah. And guys, again, I just wanted to highlight something we didn't dive into, which is part of the answer is, how else can you communicate with these sellers? Part of what happened with that individual was actually not only that, but she filled out a form, came to our bot, started ignoring our bot. We sent her a direct mail piece. The direct mail piece sent her back to the website. Because of that, lead detector caught her, sent an email to start communication, and that's how it all happened. Lead detector, minute pages, Rocket Lead, you know, A2P compliance, and email is this whole system, this whole ecosystem. You guys, at least at minimum, if you take real estate seriously, if you're really interested in getting more direct to seller leads, go just demo all of this. John will spend an hour or more. I know sometimes he's like, man, I just spent 2 hours with so and so. I mean, he will offer his time. If you go to rocketly.ai and just spend some time with them, because if you're serious about really having motivated seller leads and getting those deals done, then you need to be able to go see exactly how this all works. John, did you
Here it
have
is.
anything else you wanted to show?
Yeah, here it is right here. This was she was on the Nationwide Home Buyers Abandoned. Here's the AI automatic email that went out. Hey, is this Patricia? If not, my apologies. You could blame Google. My name's John. I think you own a home at Strasburg Street, right? If so, I was hoping to have a quick chat. Do you have time to talk? She replies, yes, I'm Patricia. I'm the owner and I want to sell it. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. It doesn't
She
even.
actually at some point further down in the chain too, she actually says, "Yeah, I'm using Google Translate because I don't speak English." We were like,
It's
this person
wild.
can't be real, and it turned out she was very real. And she was in from France. She bought a property to flip. It was more than she could take, and she went back to France. And she's like, just get it off my plate, all in French via Google Translate to boot.
We would have never ever talked to her ever had we not had lead detector technology on the website and had the automation powered by the AI send email. I've never sent an email out and let alone had lead detector on a website before. So these people would be blind to everybody who is now using this technology. They're now visible to you.
Yep. Yep.
And so John cut his teeth, as I'm sure a lot of you guys know, and if anyone here doesn't know John, he cut his teeth cold calling back in the day. So all of you guys that are sitting there in your phone warriors, you're hammering the phones all day. You're going through your 500,000, or you got a Mojo multi-line dialer, and you're hitting 5,000 people to get 3 or 4 conversations, if you're lucky. The difference here is the AI and the outbound messaging is doing all that for you. So the only people you deal with they're usually, at least at a minimum, they're a maybe to a hot lead. All the people who are flat out knows you're gone, F you, not selling, never selling, that just gets swept off the board in Rocket League. So you don't even deal with them. All you're calling, you can afford to spend 45 minutes to an hour with a lead because you're not worried about, oh, did I miss the low hanging fruit of the next call, of the next call? You know that the only people you're talking to that day have some level of interest. So it just becomes, can you close?
Especially for a part-time person like myself, Justin, because we know my full-time job is with us at TSOF and Rocket League. So those 5 deals were contracted within the last 18 days, part-time, fraction of a time. The system is designed to show me who wants to play right now, who's motivated to sell. I don't care if the spread's small. If the motivation is high, I am willing to lock in and dial in and get on the phone with them because my energy's high. It's exciting to be able to open your notebook, go right to town and start speaking to people instead of like, oh, I hope somebody picks up. Like this is like cold call, like you know what I mean? Like it works, there's no doubt about it. But like you're going to get sucked your energy out of your body, trading your time, foraging and hoping that somebody does pick up the phone. But then you have to validate to them why it's worth their time to speak to you versus the dynamic of them coming to you directly. It's like, how can I help you? You just came to me, right? So we've reversed engineered this magical situation where technically we are going to them, but we know that they came to us first for a reason, whether we drove them there through paid ads or SEO. We know that they came there for a reason. And now it's pretty much incumbent upon us to make sure we utilize that information. And that's where Rocket League kind of, struck gold for us.
Absolutely. Guys, what I'll do, we will give a replay out. If you want a replay of this on Facebook, hit replay in the comments below. We'll make sure you get a replay because I know many people showed up in between or late. If you want a replay, again, Drew, you already hit it in the comments. We'll make sure you get it. Facebook, if you want a replay, throw a replay in the comments. We'll make sure you get one. And then also what I tell all of you, if you've watched this and you've seen enough, just go see a demo. Like literally just have John expose the whole actual inner workings of it. If you are even just curious about real estate, then it's worth your time to watch a demo because this is what is a game changer. I've done this business now for 17 years. You got to look around the corner, right? And so that's what this is we're looking around the corner. There's more regulation to come. This is our answer to it as a moment in time, and it should be yours too. So rocketly.ai, schedule a demo, totally free, and just feel out whether it's a good fit for you. So
Justin, one more thing before we go. Somebody had asked if we're already A2P compliant. Do we need to be as diligent with it? The answer is 100% yes. that every single person that we have that got suspended were A2B compliant. We even had people who had approved 800 numbers, like business to business 800 numbers. They still got suspended because they violated the AUP. So like that is, even if you are approved and then you're like, well, I'm approved, so I can go send what I want now. Nope. They will pull that rug right out from underneath you. So you have to stay on top of it. You have to watch the messaging. And every time they come out and start saying, we see it. We see people start to all of a sudden, oh, my messages aren't going through. We got to go through and look, and it'll say a carrier violation. Then we got to go chase down Twilio and be like, okay, what carrier? What are they saying was violated? Because it's not, in our minds, it's not like, well, they don't like this. Okay, well, now we'll go change that. But if you don't stay on top of it, you'll get burned.
Yeah, this is going to be something I'll continue to bring up. We'll bring Pete, John on periodically as things continue to change. But everyone, enjoy your night. Go to rocketly.ai, schedule a demo. John, I appreciate you. Pete, I appreciate you. I know, Pete, you have another great Zoom call about to hit right now.
Yep.
And John's getting back on the phone. So hope this helps. Hit replay in the comments below. We'll send it to you. Later, everybody.